Welcome to the iPhoneography podcast. I'm Greg McMillan, and it is Monday, October 20th already, as we record this, and we are in full swing of the baseball playoffs. So, of course, our Toronto Blue Jays up here in Canada are, uh, if they win tonight, they go to the World Series. So that'll be the first time since they've won it in 1993. And so we're all excited about that. And we want to get this recording done before that game starts. So I am going to bring in our freshly tanned Dave Podner. Hello, David.
Yeah. How you doing, Greg?
Good. You just got home not too long ago from Palm Springs seeing your dad.
Yep.
That looked like a
Yep.
great trip.
Oh, it was. It was, and lots of pictures.
Yeah. Lots of memories. Nod, nod,
Exactly.
wink, wink. And we'll bring in Mr. Dwight Broman. Hello,
Hey
Dwight.
guys.
Now,
Hello,
now,
everyone.
Dwight living in LA, or not LA, but in California, at some distance outside of LA, I guess, is probably cheering for the Dodgers. And they are in the World Series. So if the Blue Jays make it in, I can imagine the text messages coming back and forth between us.
So if the Dodgers win, you have to wear a Dodger on one of our podcasts.
I don't have a Dodgers hat.
Well, I don't have a Toronto hat either.
I was going to say you guys would have to wear the colors, but the colors are pretty close. They're both
Yeah,
blue
they
and
are.
white.
Okay, here's what we'll do. If the Blue Jays win, Dwight,
Mhm.
you have to put below your name on the screen there,
Okay.
number 1 Blue Jays fan.
Oh.
And if the Dodgers win, I'll have to put number 1 Dodgers fan underneath
Okay.
my name.
Deal.
All right, that'll be the bet.
That'd be a heck of a memory, Greg.
Yeah, but the Blue Jays have to make it in first, so they have to win
Yeah.
tonight. If they win tonight, they're in. So,
Yeah.
based on last night's game, and plus it's in Toronto, or Toronto, as we say in Canada, they should be all right because they played really well last night. So
I think
we'll
Guerrero's on
see what
fire.
happens.
You got some good offense going right now.
You know what? That team, they all just work so well together. They've got, like, everyone's hitting good. Like, even little Alejandro Kirk is hitting home runs. Like, man, oh man, I don't think I've seen and I don't follow baseball that closely, but when I seen how well they were doing this year, I started to pay a little bit of attention to it. And when when I started seeing guys like Kirk, and they've been playing without one of their best players, especially at the plate oh crap, I can't even think of his name. See, I told you I didn't follow it that close. Bo Bichette.
Mm-hmm.
They've been playing without him for weeks and weeks now, because of an injury, and they're still just they're nailing it.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be very interesting World Series, especially with you guys having Ohtani like that. Like, that guy's just a machine.
Yeah, 10 strikeouts and 3 home runs in one game is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah. Well,
I
we
hit
got
3
that
home runs in
young,
one game in Little League.
yeah, we got that young Yasavich. He pitched again last night. 22 years old. I think he struck out 8 in 6 innings or whatever it was. I forget. But he's a heck of a pitcher too, and even guys like Raleigh are finding it a very hard time hitting him. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But
Yeah.
anyway, what we're going to talk about tonight is memories, and more specifically, the Apple Memories feature in the Photos app of the iPhone, of the iPad, of the Mac. They all have it, and I think it's one of the most underused, and probably one of the most valuable features of Apple's Photos ecosystem. So there's a lot of people that probably haven't even bothered trying doing anything with these memories before, Dwight. But I think it's a great way to memorialize a event. You know, if you've been to a certain place, like, okay, so Dave put one together. I guess it was today, Dave, of your trip to Palm Springs, and it was phenomenal. It was a great little video. And so what it is basically is a video of photos and video clips from a certain event or place or whatever. Or it could be a theme, like I've had a lot of ones come up in my feed they just pop up. The iPhone will just pop them up sometimes anyway. And I get ones that say autumn through the years because I take a lot of pictures in the autumn. And uh, my grandson Jameson is his name. It might say Jameson through the years, and it'll pull together all these pictures of my grandson and put them to this video slideshow type thing and put music to it. But of course, it's customizable. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through some of the things that you can do in this memories feature. Uh, but first of all, so Dwight, you obviously haven't really played around with it much. Dave, have you used it a whole lot, or would you say
I've
it's
used
another
it a
one of
good
those
amount.
underused things?
No, I've used it a good amount, and just because it's mostly for events. So, like you
Yeah.
said, I use it for, and the way I normally use it is instead of letting the AI or search kind of group whatever photos, I'll make a folder of the event. So, for like my recent travel, I said Palm Springs 2025, all the photos that I took and Ruth took while we were out there, I just put in that folder. And then I created a memory video based on that folder. Same thing, I'll do it off of races. So, if I'm taking photos on the race course or before or after, I'll get them all, put them in a folder, and start it off of there. I would say there is a limitation before we get started. It is customizable in terms of which photos you include or don't include, but the cropping a lot of times is automatic. So there are times when let's say I'm exporting a vertical video because you can export either vertical or horizontal, but the photo was horizontal. And I may want to have the full photo added in, but it will crop in and zoom in one particular part that it thinks is the best part. And there's not really a way to override that.
Yeah.
So, versus like an
and
iMovie where you can do that.
Exactly. So what I've done in the past is I've taken um, like a memory video, and I've kind of I put it in iMovie, and I spliced out the photo that I thought, okay, well, I don't like the crop it did on that. I've taken the photo and I've done my own crop with it and inserted it into the video in iMovie, and then finished it off that way. It's I wish it could be a little more customizable in that respect, but you've got a really good point there because you're at the mercy of what they give you,
Yeah.
right? So
And generally, it does a good job.
Yeah,
For the most part, it will clip good. Or if you take a live photo and something's going on, it will actually convert that to a little clip of a video.
right.
So,
Yeah.
like the one the one I created, there was a photo with me and my dad, and Ruth was taking the photo, and she was doing a countdown, and it just didn't put the picture up there. It put the video, and you hear her going 3, 2, 1 as
Yeah.
part of it. And that is just a really neat little feature there.
Yeah.
And when we get to the audio part,
Now,
I'll
have you
mention that
tried
about
this,
the
Dave?
music too.
Scott Baker in the chat has a pretty interesting comment. Have you tried this? Have you tried doing 30 seconds?
I have. Sometimes I just don't make it all the way to 30 seconds. I know there's things to help with that, but sometimes 30 seconds is pretty long.
Yeah. And nice to see Todd in the chat.
I have a good doctor for you guys.
Yeah, nice to see Todd in the chat. He's looking forward to this program too. So Todd, I'll ask you, and you can type in the comments there. is this something that you have used at all, or are you listening because you want to try to get to know this part of the Photos app? Um, just let us know with a comment there. I'd be
And
interested to know that.
while Todd's typing, Greg, you'd mentioned I haven't played around with this much. I do get those notifications at times,
Oh
and
yeah.
you'll click on them, and they're just beautiful little movies and memories and stuff like that. But to
Mhm.
kind of try to prep for this podcast, I tried to do a little bit more of a deep dive into it, and I think there's some really neat stuff here. I mean, anytime you go on a trip, as Dave said, you can create a folder, and then I think it would include everything in that folder, or you don't necessarily have to have a folder, but you can pick certain images out of your photo library. But what a neat way to capture, just kind of the essence of an event. And you can, use your own. I don't know if you can use your own music. I think it's probably the canned music that's available
Well,
in the
I
edit
will
module.
say you can use the canned music, or they have music from Apple Music. So if you're a
Oh,
subscriber to Apple Music,
yeah.
you can pull it in. I'm not a subscriber, so I only can. But when you look at the amount of canned music, it is substantial. So you're not
Yeah.
limited to like, oh, here's, you know, three little bits that would be a cheerful tune. It's here's 30 different ones you have options for.
So can you
Yeah.
search for certain tunes? Maybe if you have
No.
the Apple Music.
I
If you
think
have
in
Apple
Apple
Music,
Music you
you
can.
can put anything in there that you have. But the thing is, so here's the thing about that. With the Apple Music, you can use that stuff in these videos and share it with your friends, um, phone to phone, but you can't post them online, obviously due to copyright reasons. Y I mean, you might get lucky, but chances are, if you say if you wanted to post it to Facebook, it would come on saying, "Oh, this is." Oh, actually, I think the iPhone will even tell you that you have to pick a different song because the song that that you have in the video is copyright protected. So even before you can pass it on, now whether that works with person to person, I'm not sure. Um, maybe it is. Like maybe this, here we are doing a show on this thing, and I'm not 100% sure on this one point
Well,
because
yeah.
I always pick some of the stuff from the categories just so that I know I'm going to be safe.
Yeah.
I generally want an instrumental. I don't usually want a vocal song, but I don't know 100% you can if you can share a video with Apple Music in it with another person, or it has to be completely like basically royalty free, I guess, quote unquote.
Mhm.
Um, that's something I'm going to have to experiment with.
Now, I'll say
So,
that the workaround I would use is create the video without any music at all, even though part of the magic is it does sync up the music to the transitions with the photos.
yes, yeah,
But if you're willing to throw that out, you could have the video created and then use something like TikTok, where they have a lot of options for music, where it's all, the music's cleared for posting, let's say, to TikTok.
yeah,
Or if you post it to Instagram and use their music, it's cleared
hmm
on their end. So you don't have,
yeah,
because I know every video I post, it says Facebook says we're running a copyright check on this and we'll start doing it, but you know, you could have issues coming up.
yeah. Yeah, so Todd says he's used this and enjoys what it randomly generates. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely a fun feature in the Photos app. Uh, so uh, uh, iOS 26 has broken a lot of people's routines, I guess you could say, because as much as they said when they introduced iOS 26, as much as they said it's going to be familiar in a lot of ways, there's a lot of ways that it isn't. Um, I think the Photos app, I mean, it changed big time with iOS 18. I think it was. I think it was 17 was I think the old way. 18 was the new layout, and then of course 26 carries that on. and you've got, you got your library, and then you've got collections, and that's, really it should be a good thing for people, because people didn't want to see all the collections in their main feed or whatever. So Apple broke it into a separate tab at the bottom. So now you've got your library, which is just your photo stream, and
Mhm.
then you've got your all your albums, and all that stuff is in a different, like, on the other side of it, right? So, but the best way to start one of these memory videos is to have everything in an album. And then when you long press on the album, I guess one of the features, and I probably should do this as I'm talking, just so I know I get it right. One of the features, or one of the options is, let's see here.
Hey, Greg, maybe we should back up a little bit and just explain to people maybe how they can get their photos in an album.
Yeah, that's probably a good
Mm.
idea.
So you just go to your photo library and select the photos that you want for the album. It could be every photo from a trip, and then you hit the share button at the bottom left, uh, and then you select add to album, and then there's a plus sign there to where you can create a new album on that, and then they'll all go into
Mhm.
there.
Right. Yeah, I kind of got ahead of myself.
No,
But
no, no,
yeah,
that's fine.
yeah, you definitely have to have everything in an album. And that's the way to do it. Um, so okay, so I was wrong with what I said a minute ago about long pressing on the album. You actually open the album. So once you have an album made, open the album, and then at the top, it's actually, got a video playing of some of the pictures that are in there. And then there's
Mhm.
a play button. And when you hit the play button in the bottom right corner, it's going to start playing the memory video. And it'll put it to music. It'll select it
Mhm.
likely from Apple Music if you have that. And then you tap the screen. That's where you can start to customize it.
Now, by
So
default, I would say, Greg, by default, it doesn't take every picture in that album.
no,
It
that's right.
takes what it considers the best. When
Yeah.
this is where when you customize, when you tap on it and you have you don't see, and you have to tap on the movie as it's playing for the controls to come up. And that's when you have the ability to add and remove pictures, change things around, change the music, select music, even use, if you want to, some of the built-in filters. I generally don't use a filter because it puts the filter on everything. So
Hmm.
I'll edit
Yeah.
my photos beforehand to get them to look the way I want to look, and then just let them play like that.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of different things to do with this feature for sure. Um, so once you've got it started, and without being like it would be impossible to put any of this in the podcast player as we're talking about it. Like, it's easy to show a photo, but it's one thing. It's a whole different
Yeah.
thing to talk about how to do this. So we're going to try to be as um, vocal as we can about our descriptions, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
Um, so once the video starts playing, like you open the album, and at the top half of the screen is basically the video starting to play on its own. And you hit the play button. Now the video goes full screen, and you can have it either portrait mode or landscape. And you, you just tap on the screen, and then you've got your options. In the bottom left hand corner is your music. And then the bottom right hand corner is like a little circle with these tiles, 6 tiles in it. That's what you touch to select the images that
Mhm.
you want to have in your memory video. So then you go through and you select them all.
Now,
You and
Greg, I'll say once you're on the page of selecting the video, I mean,
Mhm.
selecting the video or photos, to add them, you have to hit the plus button on the top of the screen.
Oh yeah, okay.
So, yeah, basically, you have the video playing, you tap on it to bring up the controls, You click the bottom right where it has like the the little basically squares in a grid, and
Yeah.
then that'll show you
I
all
see
the
that.
photos it's using. And then you can click the plus, and then you can either remove if you're like, that wasn't I took that picture, I don't want it included, or you can click on one that they didn't include, like, no, I wanted this one, and have it added in.
And what it also does is it goes to all your photos too. Like, it
Mhm.
actually goes out of the album and goes to all your photos. So if there's some that you don't have in the album that you want in your memory video, you can select them that way as well.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so you can make this thing as long or as short as you like, really. Um,
And there are
I
options when you're creating it. You don't get to select the time per se, but there's a long, medium, and short option, is what Apple calls it.
Yeah.
And if you select, I think by default it does short. But if you want to have long, if you select long, it just won't lengthen out the video. I mean, the length each picture's on there, it'll add more pictures in.
Mhm.
So
I
it
have a
isn't
question.
just, oh, sure.
I have a question for you guys. Now, I opened an album and then I see the play button halfway down
Mhm.
on the right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, if I wanted to just have, just say, a row of pictures for this memory, I selected the top row, but now I don't see an option to play this.
Did you, okay, unselect those pictures
Okay.
and start playing the video first.
Okay.
That's the one counterintuitive thing. To edit the video, you have to start playing it first.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, you have to start playing the video first, then click on the full screen video as it's playing.
Okay.
Then all the controls pop up then.
Okay. Interesting.
And if you want to select again, the bottom left, as Greg said, that's your music, either Apple Music or its various categories that it has with the free instrumentals and everything else. And the bottom right is where you select what pictures you want to, what it'll show what pictures are included. And then
Mhm.
once you get that grid of all the pictures included, there's a plus on the upper part of the screen. And that's how that's the screen you actually can add and remove photos from that.
Right. See,
Okay,
there's a
cool.
reason why it says Prof Pod under Dave's name, because
Mhm.
he's the professor. You're so much better at describing this stuff than I am, Dave. And I
Well, it's
think it's
also
maybe
part.
because
It's
my
also
brain.
well, no, it's also part of my job, my daytime job.
Oh, well, yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Lots of practice. Lots of practice.
yeah. And that's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. So there's different genres of music. Like there's gentle, there's let's see here. I'll go back into this and start the video, and then I will see what it has for music. So now when you tap on the music icon at the bottom of the screen, it shows the music icon again with a plus sign. You tap that, and then that's when you can get into it shows your Apple Music, and it gives you suggestions. And then just for you, playing then, I don't know what that means, but soundtracks is where you find all your different categories. So you've got dreamy, sentimental, gentle, chill, neutral, happy, uplifting, and epic. So that ranges from something that you might hear in a spa to a movie soundtrack. Like epic is more like that heavy orchestral soundtrack type of music. And there's I don't know, there's probably looks like there's probably 4 or 5 dozen of each one at least.
Yeah,
um
that's why I said about honestly using the built-in music so you're safe for posting it places.
mhm,
There's lots of variety in there. That you're not like limited again to one or two of each type. You can just keep scrolling and listening. Like, okay, this work? Does that not work? So it makes a big, that gives you lots of options.
yeah.
And the other thing I noticed is when you select a piece of music, it actually changes the speed and the cadence of how the photos are changed.
Hmm.
So if you have a piece of music that all of a sudden has a big boom, 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 like that, it'll change the photos to match the beat.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, because you mentioned
Yeah.
earlier that it works with the transitions and everything too.
Mhm.
And what I like about the transitions is sometimes you'll have 2 images on the screen, and sometimes 1, sometimes 3, it'll stack them, uh, and the transitions are nice, they come in from one
Mhm.
from this side, one from this side, and, it might have a little thin black line separating the 2 images and things like that. Like, it's really well done. But the timing, what I've found is whatever the piece of music is, once the video is over, that music seems to fade out at
Mhm.
just the right time,
Hmm.
Yeah.
at that where it makes sense, it'll make that video, um, the time of the video will go along with the music, and then somehow it's just timed just right that it just fades off and finishes at the right time according to the music. So that's pretty cool.
Okay,
Um,
so I've got a photo album open and I started playing it and I hit
Mhm.
the squares down in the lower right and I
Mhm.
see all the photos as you'd mentioned, Dave, and I was trying to figure out how to remove one so it's a long
Okay.
press on it.
It
Then you can
well,
make
either
it a
long
key
press,
photo. Yeah.
right, or you click the plus on the very top of that screen,
Okay. Oh,
and that gives you the entire folder, and you can just click and unselect if you want to
got
take
it.
one off,
Okay.
or like I said, since it automatically gets it, there are times I create them like, I really wanted that particular photo to be added. You can add it back in there.
Okay.
yeah. And then another thing is once you have, um, the video is playing and you see across the bottom, there's the tiles of all the images that are in it. You can you can pause it and then rearrange those
Oh,
tiles, I think. Oh, maybe not. Oh, yes, you can because if you if you hit the icon at the bottom right-hand corner that with the 6 little squares in the circle, you hit that, it shows all the images that you have in the video, and then you can
you can
tap and
drag them.
drag.
Yep.
Yeah, you can
You can
drag them
drag them.
around.
Mhm.
Long press and drag.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's cool.
so that's kinda handy too. Um,
Mm.
so let's see,
It's good being a fly on a wall. I'm learning a lot from you guys here.
well, we have an outline, but we're just hitting these points,
Yeah.
on the fly as we go. Um, so
And
okay, so here
honestly, lots of time when you're explaining things, the easiest thing to do is kind of step through it as you would to create one.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So one thing that's really cool, and Dave, you mentioned this earlier today in our text messaging, is this with iOS 26, you can do spatial scene with a photo.
Mhm.
So when you open a photo, excuse me, and it could be any photo in your library. It doesn't have to be one that you've taken. It could be something that you've scanned on a flatbed scanner and
Mhm.
imported into your library. Um, but if there's a little icon above it and on the right hand side, it's a little icon of a picture with an arrow. You tap that and it opens up like it slides open. It says spatial scene, and then it uses AI to you'll see it's kind of scan the image, and then we've talked about this when iOS 26 first come out. Then you can move your phone around and it looks like it's got this 3D effect to it. And you had mentioned, Dave, about not being able to put it into a memory video, but all you got to do is screen record that, move it around a bit, do that
Mhm.
screen recording, and then you can, when you stop doing the screen recording, you can edit it so that you know, get it just where you want it, just the right amount of magical movement or whatever, and then you can import that in, or you could put that into that album where your memory videos are living
Yeah.
and make that part of the memory, which I think that
Mhm.
would be really cool.
I really wish, though, there was a way to create spatial photos, stick it as a spatial photo, and then use it that way. So you wouldn't have the workaround of having to do screen recording and do the editing of the video, and maybe you have to do a little cropping depending on, when you do a screen recording, it does the top and bottom. So you may have to crop down a little bit, crop up a little bit, do a little trimming of the video itself. It's not hard, but it should not be an extra step.
Yeah.
It should be something that Apple could say, like they have, like they said, they make with the memories, they convert some of the photos to live photos. It should either figure it out or have the ability to say, make this a spatial video or make this a spatial photo. Because even when you just do, even if you don't move the camera around and you only do a screenshot of the video, once it creates a spatial photo, it still has more dimensions than
Mhm.
it did before.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah,
if you're
that's
not
right.
moving it, it still has. It's not quite 3D, but it's more of a pop out.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um,
Very
uh,
interesting.
yes, there's something else it has here too. Like if you want certain things to not appear in your memory videos, because sometimes your phone will just say, pop it up and say, hey, here's a memory we've created. Um, it won't do hidden photos. So if you definitely don't want a certain picture in your memory videos to like just to pop up like that, make it a hidden photo. Or you can, what's the other thing is you can uh, see less often or suggest less often.
Mhm.
What is it here? I had it right here in front of me and now it's gone. Or feature less. So you can long press on a picture, I think, of a person, say, and let's see
That's in
here.
the memory, Greg?
No, this is just in the regular part of photos, I think. So
Yeah.
um
Huh.
no, it's not there. I see it in the outline, but I'm not sure exactly where that is.
Yeah, honestly, I don't use it that much just because, and like I said, you can create you can just use the Apple Intelligence and
Yeah,
literally say pictures of, let's say in my case, pictures of Dave and Ruth over the years, walking or in
yeah.
nature, and it'll pick all those photos automatically. But for the most part, I create the albums of the photos I want to do. Like I said, I think they're really good for events, for travel, but you could even do, like I said, you could do people,
Hmm.
you know, something. And I didn't necessarily use the feature when it happened. It was a lot. I did a lot more manual, but when Ruth's mom passed 3 years ago, and we wanted to have a screen recording, not a screen recording, a slideshow play at the viewing. You could have gone into our videos and said, Pat Toth, pictures of Pat Toth over the years, and it would create it. And or you could say, okay, you could go in manually, select the photos, and then output it that way. And then all you'd have to do is just have it play on on a TV or something.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, you got something there, Dwight?
No, I'm just playing around with this now and learning a lot.
And it's very Apple in terms of,
Yeah.
if you want to just do a quick movie, it's quick and easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's kind of a hidden customization that is out of view for most people, so they don't get confused by it. But it's there where, like I said, certain things they can't do. Like, oh, I really like how it took these 3 vertical videos, or I'm sorry, let's say 3 horizontal pictures, and they put it on the screen at one time, and then the transition was all 3 photos kind of moving away and showing a new one, which was really nice.
Mhm.
You don't control when that happens, though. You have to
Right.
trust. You have to trust the AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Um, something else that helps make a good memory video is keeping your photos library cleaned up. Get rid of duplicates, get rid of low quality images. Just give it a helping hand to make sure that it's just going to pick some good stuff, to put in. Um, oh, and the other thing is, so a lot of people don't like to geotag their pictures, but I think it's perfectly fine. I mean, Apple's not doing anything with this information. And in fact, I think most of it just stays on your device. Of course, you're putting them in iCloud. So I guess, maybe that's not a true statement. But the point is,
right?
if you want your memories to come up with you know, like, okay, so Dave went to Palm Springs, it could come up and say memories of Palm Springs because he was there. That's where these pictures were geotagged, and it knows, okay, I'm going to put all this together for Dave and present it to him and say, here you go. What do you think? So I geotag my pictures all the time.
Yeah.
For that
I
reason.
li- yeah, I leave location services on for photos, but I understand some people for security, not necessarily for what um what the companies, Apple or Facebook or
Mhm,
Google do with it, but people knowing, oh, it's like, oh, you took a picture of that looks like your home. I now have your location of where you live.
yeah, yeah,
And I know there's plenty of people are like, yeah, there's people out there who I've had issues with per se, not me personally, but and I rather not give out my location where I am right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
So, I could definitely see reasons why you would not want to have that broadcast out per
I
se.
think there's a way to
yeah,
disable the exit data if you share to social media on a
Okay.
particular photo. You can adjust the location, that
Okay.
type of thing.
yeah. I think when you go to share, like, say, if you're going to share straight from your phone to, say,
Mhm.
Facebook, there will be a thing at the top or somewhere that says options, and then it says
Mhm.
you can turn off the location
Yeah.
data.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Now,
there's a lot of things that are going to be like a bit of a pain in the butt, things like that. But in order for
Yeah.
this to work better for you, though, it's best to have them
that
geotagged.
location, yeah,
And
Yeah.
I mean, once you get the video complete, the geotag stuff won't be on that video
right.
because, you know, um, I shouldn't say that because maybe okay, I have a um,
I think it'll
memory that I
geotag where you created the video at.
Mm.
yeah, like, okay, let's see. I
Yeah,
should
but I'm
probably
with Dave. Yeah, I don't want if I'm going to share a photo with social media or somebody that I
Yeah,
don't want them to know
right.
where I am. I'm personally not comfortable with that, but
Yeah,
right.
for my own purposes, I'm okay with it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, say while you're looking at Greg, Todd did ask a question about, do I ever run into a problem when sharing the memories? The only issue I have when you go to share the memory, let's say you're done, you have the music selected, you have the ones that you have the length, you have what photos you want and don't want. You hit the share button, and down the bottom you have like save video or share it to messages or whatever. But on top there's options, and the options are either you could either do portrait, you could do landscape or square, and then you can do the aspect ratio of either 16 by 9, 4 by 3. um I think you can do square there sometimes depending on how it's set up. But the only issue I have is different services like different things, if that makes sense. Like TikTok, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels are all heavily vertical. So if I have a lot of horizontal pictures, that's the only problem I run into. So if I have something like, oh, this would look great horizontal because I got all these horizontal landscapes and things going on, but the service loves vertical, it will it may put a border on top and bottom. You get a much smaller picture, or it may
Yeah.
zoom in depending on the service. That's really, but when you're exporting it, it's just a straight video. So really, I don't have any issues that way.
Dave,
Yeah.
I have a question, and Greg, for you as well. What if your photo album has, say, 75 pictures in it or 100? Is it going to play them all, or is it limited to a certain amount of time?
By default, it will select highlighted pictures. However, if you want to play all of them, it will play all of them if you select all of them. It will make it longer. I think because when you select the length, you can do short, medium, or long. So if you do like short and you have 75, you may get a lot where there's 2 or 3 pictures per slide.
Got it. So long will
So
cover the whole album?
Short would also, but long
Okay.
may cover where you don't combine pictures into one
Got
slide.
it. Not as many transitions.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I have one that I created here on my phone the other day, and just to get back to the location thing. And when I swipe up, so what I did was I created it, and then
Mhm.
in the share sheet, I said save video. And now in the in the EXIF data, there's no location. So it's chock full of location data photos, but there's no location on the finished product, on the finished video.
Okay.
So that's that answers that part of it.
Yeah, that's smart.
Now there's an option to add a location, but I mean, why would you want to, right?
Well,
So
I could see adding a location if it was a trip to the zoo
well,
or
yeah,
a trip to the ballpark,
Or you're
because
just
that
sharing it
way,
with family.
right,
Yeah.
well,
or
yeah,
somewhere
yeah.
where it's like I said, if you're going to a baseball game, you can put down the
Mhm.
ballpark you're at, and
Yeah.
that'll make it easier also for you to find it later on.
Mhm.
But I would say anything that would be and this is basic security, anything that would be easily identifiable to a place that you frequent, or just don't put that on there.
Mhm.
It's literally like, you don't necessarily want to broadcast to the open internet your home address. Not
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
because
exactly.
of being scared of people coming and getting you, which I know lots of people have that issue of, I don't want people to know where I live because, you know, people, unfortunately. But if someone has your home address, a lot of times they could start doing things in your name you don't want them to. So
Mhm.
it's more of, it's common sense and as secure as you can make it, because generally everything out there isn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've listened to too many Dateline podcasts, so I would agree with you.
Yeah.
We don't
So
need
what was I
Chris
gonna say?
Hansen.
Yeah. Uh, so what we'll do is, we've kind of been all over the map with this, in a rather, a slightly organized way, but I think what we should do is one of us, or maybe all of us, do a screen recording with audio and walk through the process of creating a memory. If
Mhm.
you just want, I'm
Yeah.
not saying you guys got to do it or whatever, but if you just want to do that, that's great, and we could put it on the YouTube channel. Um, Another thing is there's links in the show notes from Apple, and is it just from Apple? Let me see. I'm gonna pull
That's
up
a
my
great
note
idea,
here.
Greg.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's one from uh, uh, their support website, and it's the iPhone user guide, and it's the section on creating memory. And you can, at the
Mhm.
top of the page, you can select the operating system that you're using. So if you're still on iOS 18, you can switch that to 18, and it'll show you the proper steps involved in doing that. The other one is a quick YouTube video showing how to do it with Apple Intelligence. So Dave, you alluded to that earlier,
Mhm.
where so okay, so just in the Photos app, you can go to collections, and then at
Mhm.
memories. In the memories section, wherever you have it on your phone, I happen to have mine on the top row. You tap on memories because it has a little arrow beside it, and then at the top right hand corner, it says create. Right there, it says create. So when you hit create, that's where the Apple Intelligence stuff comes in, and you type in, uh, okay, so the examples that it's giving me here is Night Sky Magic with a happy song, creating memories at home with Jameson. That's my grandson. So if I put those suggestions in there, or I can type in my own, however, or whatever it is I want to say, it will make it'll start pulling in pictures from your photos library and create a memory video for you,
Mhm.
and it'll do the music and everything. And then of course once you play it, that's when you can start, you could tap on the screen, and then you can start editing it and
Mhm.
making it more your own. So
Now, it
um
also helps if you tag people and pets in pictures and videos that you've
yes.
taken,
Yep.
because a few, versions ago, you were able to start to tag pets in your
Hmm.
photos.
Yeah, like I
So
have my dogs both tagged.
that's a big help for me.
In fact, one of my suggested memories that came up was of little Ginger, who likes to make herself known on the podcast here. Um, Ginger over the years. So it would
Mhm,
just have pictures of her, you know, or videos or whatever, right? And sometimes the videos will have sound, and if I'm not mistaken, Dave, you can have that sound turned off for that clip, can you not?
I'm trying to
I know you used to be able to,
I
but
don't think you
I
can anymore, because I remember
okay.
when I was doing the last video for Palm Springs,
Mhm.
um, when I put the music over it, I didn't have the option to silence the video in the background.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, it would be nice if you could again, unless there's just something we haven't found. Maybe I don't
Yeah.
know, but yeah. There's a lot of different things and ways you can go about making these memory videos, and I think it's just an invaluable thing to have.
Right.
Dave, you use live photos all the time, and you use those for a reason. And that reason, in my opinion, is so that you can it gets you back in the moment, and you can actually hear what's going on
Mhm.
when you took the photo, right?
Right.
With memories, it just really expands on that, and gives you like a 1, 2, 3 minute little vignette of something that happened in your life, whether it's with people or a place you went to or whatever. So I think I think it's a great feature, and I've been saying this for years about it, about how important it is to use, and you know I thought it was high time we did a show about it, especially because the holiday season's upon us.
Mhm.
With you guys having Thanksgiving coming up, and then with Christmas or Hanukkah, whatever, however you celebrate it, it's coming up later this year too. New Year's, I mean, you imagine a memories video with fireworks, that would be amazing.
Mhm.
So,
Well, I mean, I've had suggestions of 4th of July over the years, or,
mhm, yeah,
you know, you could even actually type, if you want to, fireworks over the years. If you have pictures and
sure,
videos of fireworks, and it'll start bringing them in.
yeah, yeah,
Dave, does
and
your if you take a photo, a live photo, and in the memory, does it play any part of that clip of the live
It
photo? Because that would
can,
be
it
cool. Oh,
can,
it can.
yeah, yeah. So it's up to the software.
Got it.
It decides what it converts that photo to the little video or not.
Okay.
So, if you look at the, video I did today, it's very similar to one I posted, I think, a week ago online. The part where it's, like I said, me and my dad and Ruth, you could hear Ruth in the background saying 3, 2, 1 to
yep,
take the photo. That was just a photo,
yeah,
but it was a
and
live photo, so it
just
converted
as she
into that.
said 1, you smiled
Yeah.
because you were ready for it.
Mhm.
But yeah. Okay, so guys, let's do this. Let's do this. For the YouTube channel, we'll each create a memory video. You guys send me yours, and I'll send you mine, of course. Um, but I'll put them all three together in iMovie and make one long thing with all three memory videos, and then we'll post it to the channel. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
Sounds good.
And it could be about, Dave, it could be about your trip to Palm Springs, or whatever, right? It could be anything. I'll probably do one on the fall colors. That's what I've been shooting a lot of lately. But I think it'll be a good addition, to help promote this episode anyway. And
Now, the
we
other
can.
suggestion I would give is you may want to test to have it vertical and horizontal,
Mhm.
because it depends how it crops the photos to get it right vertically versus horizontally. Like
Yeah.
YouTube generally is a horizontal format, but
Mhm.
there's lots of times where the photos you're selecting are portrait photos, or they're better to be vertical. And in that
Yeah.
case, it would be best to select and create. But the nice thing is you can test it by holding your phone, and
Mhm.
when you export it, again, you use the options on top so you can select which, how do you want it to be exported, either horizontally or vertically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
That's a good tip. And in the past, I have exported them both in both ways,
Mhm.
just because I kind of like how it produced them. Um,
Greg, is the idea for us to screen record and show how we actually put it together, or
you
just
can if you
have a
want.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can if you want. I'm happy either way, or you could do both. You can do the if you want, you can do the screen record of how you went about it,
Hmm.
and then also have the finished export.
Yeah.
And put it on we'll put them all together.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's and I think that's people will get so much more out of that, I think, than even us just gabbing about it here.
Sure.
People, if we did a screen record of how we put it together, that
Mhm.
would be pretty pretty good information for some people. I mean, there's the Mac Most channel on YouTube.
Hmm.
I've seen him do, putting these things together. He's great at explaining
That was
things
2 years
and
ago. I
whatnot.
looked. I looked. His last one was 2 years ago, and the interface is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
aren't very many YouTube videos on how to do this, so I think it would be very useful for us to show.
yeah.
Now, I'll also mention that not only can now this is kind of going off. Not only can you do this on the iPhone or iPad, if you want to do this on the iPad, not necessarily take the photos, but work on it, say, have a bigger surface. It works the same way on the iPad as it would the iPhone, but
Mhm.
it's also available on the Mac.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
if you
yeah.
go into your photo, there's memories right there on the Mac, and it's a little different. Like the format's going to be a little different. Same basic idea. My computer's so old, I don't have Apple Intelligence. My computer's 8 years old at this point.
They're
So,
calling it collections now on the Mac,
Mhm.
okay.
on the latest operating system.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty similar to the iPhone, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So, um, and they look good on Apple TV. If you have an Apple TV, you go to the Photos app in Apple TV, and there's a
Mhm.
section called Memories. And let me see. I think it might not only have ones that you've created, but it may create some for you as well. Now, my Apple TV box it was, it's not even a 4K model. It's just the HD one. That's how old it is. And I think I'm going to be looking at one this year. Maybe they're supposed to announce
Oh, they are
some
talking.
things, I
Yeah,
think.
they're talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they bring a new one out this year, I'll probably get a new one. Just because this one's it's getting a little long in the tooth, and it's not as quick as it used to be, type of thing. Because it has like probably an A9 chip in it or some darn thing. Like it's an old chipset, whereas the new ones have like the A18 chip in them, which is much faster. But yeah, so there's the whole Apple ecosystem is capable of seeing,
Mhm.
at least seeing these things.
Right.
And I think you can even watch them on your Apple Watch. Let me see.
Hmm.
I'll go to the Photos app and see what comes up. Okay. How to make a photo in your own. That's, yeah, I don't
I
want
just see
that.
featured and favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I guess not. I thought maybe it might have played it, um, but that'd be cool if it did. But hard to see, you know. But anyway, but yeah, I think it's a great feature. I think it's very underused or at least under advertised. You know, I remember when the iPhone 5S came out, there was a commercial around Christmas time where it had this kid, like a probably a
Mhm.
13 or 14-year-old kid, and he always kept to himself and he's always on his phone. And he at the end of the commercial, it showed everybody having fun doing this and doing that. At the end of the commercial, it showed him plugging his phone into the TV somehow and playing this video that he made of all the goings on around him. So basically, he was creating a memory video before memories was a thing. And you know, maybe when Apple made this commercial, they kind of had the idea that they were going to come out with this, but um, you know, the iPhone is doing all that for us now, so we don't have to worry about sitting off in a corner and, you know, not being social with anybody and putting this together. So,
I mean,
um,
unless that's something you prefer.
well, hey, who knows,
Some of
right?
us prefer. Some of us prefer to be in the corner with the dogs and the cats.
Mhm.
Yeah. um, okay, well, I think what we'll do is, you know, we'll look forward to seeing
Mhm.
what we come up with a memory video, and we'll put them. I'll put them together into one big video and put it on the channel, and you know, of course, we'll share it to the socials and whatever, and see what we come up with. But is there anything else that you guys could think of that maybe we missed that should be brought up about these
No, I
memories?
think I think what people
Yeah.
need to do is just get in there and start
Yeah.
playing with it. It's pretty intuitive, I think.
Yeah,
And with some of our examples, it should be able to help.
I think so. Um, yeah, it's not it might look a little intimidating at the beginning, but I think once you get into it and get playing around with it, you're gonna find you're making a lot of memory videos, and you know
Mhm.
the more you get used to it, the better it is, the easier it is. So,
And a
but
lot of
I
times, honestly, it's easier on your friends and family to see a 3-minute video versus trying to go through 30 photos.
oh
Right.
yes, absolutely, yeah, for sure. Um, and I've done that. I've shared uh, you know memories from like a Christmas or whatever, like an event that we've had, family reunion, whatever. You know, and I've put that stuff together and I've shared it with people, and it's so much better than sending a whack of pictures that you know they're not even going to pay much attention to. But putting it to music is so nice. It's so
Mhm. refreshing.
refreshing. It's better than you know back in the day when you had the slide carousel and ka-ching.
Yeah.
I can remember looking at slides like that when I was a kid. It's
Kids look up
y-
pictures on Google.
yeah, yeah. Look up slide projector on Google.
Yeah. And stick shift.
Yeah, we're all old enough to remember that.
Best anti-theft device out there.
Yeah, really, eh?
Yeah.
That's how I cut my teeth in behind the wheels
Mhm.
with a four on the floor. Anyway, so we're not going to do any recent photos this week because we're just about at the hour mark, and the ball game will be starting. Um, so we will. Yeah, we've got a few in the can that we'll hang on to until the next show, um, and we'll probably try to make them pertinent to the show, like we try to do that. But if we can't, then
Mhm.
we'll just maybe have a quick our recent photo segment at the end of the next show. Um, you know, we'll just play that by ear. Uh, and oh, there's the putty
There's
tat.
Rosie. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep,
Come
she's
on.
making her entrance. I'm surprised Ginger hasn't tried to come in yet, but she must be quite
Yep.
satisfied to be out on the couch with my
Oh,
wife.
okay.
So anyway, well, thanks, guys. Dwight, I hope you learned lots.
Yeah, thanks. It was very educational. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Well, it's like
If my head was down a lot in this podcast, is because I was playing with it. I was kind of fascinated. So my
yeah.
apologies.
Oh no, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's like that episode we did on creating digital art. I was, like a deer caught in the headlights with that one too. So, um, I know how you feel. But it's a lot of fun, and if listeners, if you create these videos, and if you put shareable music to them, by all means, put them in the Facebook group. We'd love to see
Mhm.
what you come up with, and tag them with like podcast memories or something like that. Hashtag podcast memories, and we'll be glad to have a look at them and see what you got. We'll share some of ours if we make them,
Mhm.
and have fun with it. That's what it's all about. So,
Yep.
alrighty. Well, on that note, I guess we'll see everybody on the next one. Thanks, guys, and
Mhm.
let's keep those memories shaking.
Yep.
Good
Have a
seeing
great one,
everyone.
everyone.
Yeah.
And thanks
Guys,
everybody
take
in the
care.
chat room. I can't go without saying thank you to those who are listening live, and for anybody and everybody that supports this show somehow. We really do appreciate it.
Mhm.
And okay, good night, everybody.
Good night.